Hey everyone, welcome to Arsenal Fan TV, and this is my review of yesterday evening's game. Arsenal 0, Liverpool 0, and far from the result that we could have wished for in this game. It's now been 5 games out of 6 at home where we failed to score, and that is a really worrying statistic, and I sincerely hope that this is the last game where we're going to be failing to score at home. Last night's performance was unbelievably frustrating at Arsenal, from Arsenal, and they never cease to find new ways of amazing me before games. First of all, Callum Chambers and Gabriel coming in for Mertesacker and Koscielny, who just like an hour before the game had been ruled out. We hadn't heard anything about that leading up to the match, which was a surprise to say the least, and it was a very big game for Petr Cech in my opinion, considering he had a whole new defence in front of him. It was a massive game for Cech, and he really fulfilled the expectation I put on him because he put in a man-of-the-match display last night. But overall, I mean, I don't really know how I'm going to sum up this game because it was so unbelievably disappointing. I was going into the game with so much expectation. Admittedly, I did underestimate Liverpool a bit. Liverpool, got to give them credit first and foremost. I thought they were superb, especially in that first half. I mean, they could have been 3 or 4-0 up going into half-time, and they could have put us in our place. If that was anyone better, then we would have been really punished last night. If that was Bayern Munich, Real Madrid or anyone, we'd have really been put in our place. And not to mention, just before the game as well, the same day, Karim Benzema confirms he's going to be staying at Real Madrid just to put a damper on the evening, which, although I never thought he was going to join Arsenal, it is still a blow. It just puts a damper on the evening. We never went into the game looking all that positive, and we never really looked like scoring either. Throughout the whole first half, it kind of felt like we were already at a deficit because we were being absolutely pummeled by Liverpool. They were so on top of us, it was unreal. And of course, it was going to be difficult for us. Having a completely new defence, pretty much. Chambers and Gabriel barely played with each other. Chambers hasn't had a chance to play alongside Gabriel. He hasn't had a chance to play alongside Cech. And Chambers was definitely the weak link in that Arsenal team tonight. But I don't think he deserves the bombardment of criticism that he's got. He's 20 years old. He hasn't played with these players before. He's got a lot to learn. And it was always going to be a difficult game. We've kept a clean sheet, I don't know how, against the likes of Coutinho, Firmino, Benteke, against a good Liverpool side. You've got to give credit where it's due. Brendan Rodgers really does seem to know what he's doing with this Liverpool side, and they are strong top 4 contenders if they keep this up. But let's not give them the benefit of the doubt too much. They have benefited so much from poor officiating in the past 2 games, and that's something that's got to be stamped out because there is too much at stake at the moment to really be getting this wrong still. It was appalling last season. The officiating last night was diabolical, and it can't be continuing. These are professional officiators, and it is incredibly frustrating that we're continuing to see this happen going into the new season, where I would expect professional standards to really be on the up. But unfortunately, that's not the case. But let's get into the game itself. We were really given a let-off in about the first minute when Benteke had a great chance to score, and then shortly after that, Coutinho probably had Liverpool's best chance of the game, where Benteke was played in by Milner. Benteke plays a ball across the box to Coutinho. It's completely unmarked despite having about 4 defenders around him, and he hits it off the crossbar. Nothing Cech could do about that, and that was really our let-off after that. And those were probably Liverpool's 2 best chances of the game, apart from one they had that I'll get onto a little bit later. But we had our first chance of the game, and this is where the controversy starts. A lovely weighted ball from Santi Cazorla, plays in Aaron Ramsey, and it's put into the back of the net, and he's not miles onside, but he is clearly onside. Skirtle was clearly playing him on, and it is a goal for Arsenal, but it's not given due to poor officiating, and it's ruled offside. I couldn't quite believe it seeing it on the replay. At the time when I'm in the stadium, you can't really call that kind of thing, but watching it back on the replay when I got home, a shocking decision from the linesman, absolutely shocking. And that could have been a totally different game. Despite how poor we were in that first half, that knocked us. I mean, I'm going to count that as that knocking us, because despite being poor, that certainly didn't help matters whatsoever. And if we would have scored that, things could have been completely different. But you know, no point dwelling on the past and what could have been. It was a factor of last night's game, and one that is going to continue to frustrate. But we just can't dwell on it. We just can't dwell on that. We've got to pick ourselves up, and it's annoying that we're starting the season slowly yet again. I just don't know why we're starting the seasons so slowly, consistently. I mean, we've got to remember, this is the team that won about 10 games on the bounce last season, so I don't know why we're playing in such a crude manner of football. I'm probably going to say frustrated again, but that's just how I can sum up last night and how we've started this season. Liverpool had another really good chance later on in the game through Christian Benteke. If it wasn't for a world-class save from Petr Cech, he's played in by Philippe Coutinho. Benteke, all he has to do is put it in the back of the net, but who is there but to stop him? Petr Cech, and he tips it around the post. And that was the first half, completely an utterly Liverpool dominance. But going into that second half, we really turned up the pace. We looked like a different team. We looked rejuvenated. I thought Callum Chambers played a lot better in that second half despite having really nervy spells. Gabriel was absolutely fantastic, and Monreal really took on a lot of responsibility last night in that back four. I thought he had a cracking game. I thought Bellerin had a good game as well. And let's not forget how well Francis Coquelin played, a man that deserves an awful lot of praise. I thought he was absolutely immense last night and took a hell of a lot of responsibility, as did Petr Cech. One of them two should have been wearing the armband last night because they were the ones really orchestrating that game from a defensive point of view. But it was really us in that second half. But we didn't, although we had a lot of the ball. We were dilly-dallying a lot with it. We were playing a lot of triangular, pretty football, but no end product. We were pretty to watch with no end product. That's how I would describe how we performed last night. We didn't have our real first clear-cut chance until Giroud played in Alexis Sanchez. Sanchez hits the post. I think if he was at full fitness, they would have gone in the back of the net, but unfortunately it didn't. And Giroud also had a great chance, which, to be honest, he should have scored. But I think Giroud worked really hard last night. I don't think we can criticise him too much. I mean, Sanchez missed a really good chance to score. Giroud also missed a good chance to score. Things didn't go well for us last night, but I don't think we can pinpoint the blame on Giroud. I think things didn't go so well for us when he actually came off the pitch and we brought Walcott on. That's a move I don't really understand, especially our tactical decisions after that, because we start to play more crosses into the box when Walcott comes onto the pitch, and when you've got no height in there, it doesn't make any sense. Another thing that's continuing to frustrate with Arsenal is continuing to play Aaron Ramsey on the right-hand side of the pitch. And why are we not starting Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain alongside someone like Alexis Sanchez and Mesut Ozil? The potential Ozil has got for runners beyond him is absolutely insane, and I don't know why Chamberlain isn't starting games. The difference he made in the 5 minutes that he was on the pitch was more than he did in the time that Ramsey was on the pitch, and that's not to slate Ramsey anyway whatsoever. I think Ramsey had a decent game considering where he was playing. I mean, he got that offside goal, he got himself into good positions. Defensively a little bit questionable, but I think overall, good considering he was being played out of position, I thought he had a decent game. It's hard to really pick anyone that had a poor game from an Arsenal perspective. I think everyone played pretty decently. It's just the cohesion, the balance within the team doesn't really seem to be working for us, and it's a lot of dilly-dallying, triangular style of football. And like I say, we're pretty with no end products. We can't seem to put the ball in the back of the net. No one wants to have a pop shot. It's really, really agonisingly painful to watch us at times, because you just know that for these 5-10 minute moves where we're playing it outside the Liverpool box, nothing's going to happen. You just know that Skirtle's going to bang it away with a header or something. We are so unbelievably predictable to play against when we've got someone like Ramsey on the right hand side, because we're going to play very narrow, and it's just typical what we're going to do. It's very, very annoying to see us playing in this manner, and I would hope that going into that game against Newcastle, changes are made. Wenger has got massive calls to be made. I think Gabriel certainly deserves to keep his place in the team. Chamberlain 110% has to be starting that game. I wouldn't drop Giroud going into that game against Newcastle. I don't know if Walcott's going to benefit us anymore, but the team isn't in the right place at the moment, and we've started the season jaded. We don't look fit at times. It's a very poor start from Arsenal, and we've got 4 points from a possible 9, which isn't ideally how I wanted us to start the season. We're already 5 points behind City, which I know doesn't mean much at this stage in the season, but we're playing catch up yet again. I don't like that. I don't like that we're doing this consistently, season after season after season. I mean, what's going wrong? This is the same team that put 4 past Villa in the FA Cup final. It's the same team that won about 10 games on the bounce. Giroud, I don't know why he's underperforming. He scored about 10 games in a row for us last season. I don't really know what's going wrong, and it's a really difficult one. So, as usual, I took to you guys on Twitter. Thanks for all of you sending your tweets in. If you don't follow me on Twitter, it's @simplycookie_. If you want to have your opinion heard in these videos, make sure to give me a follow and get in touch with me after the games. But these are some of the thoughts that I got following last night's draw with Liverpool. First of all, we've got @Columbo Cock. Great name. Still haven't done well in this transfer window. Yes, check his quality, but yesterday we could see a lack of a world-class striker. Jamal Jeffers said, team selection was the key issue. All our play in the middle, too many centre mids on the pitch, no width. Ahmed Mahmood 6 says, team selection again was poor. A lot of people slating Giroud, but it really is not his fault when you don't have runners. Talk Marcus says, poor inform right midfielder, Ox on the bench, but central midfielder Ramsey on the wing. Why we are wasting position? Completely agree with that. Lee Sheridan 10 says, defensively fragile, not good enough. Offensively in second half, great goal ruled offside, doesn't help matters. And Perez Sharot, apologies if I said that wrong, Chambers and Cazorla need to learn how to just clear the ball. And Cartoon660 says, Chambers was woeful first half, why isn't Chamberlain starting over Ramsey? Once again, thanks to absolutely everyone that tweeted in. There are a load of tweets that I'm going to feature on the screen right now. But yeah, those pretty much summed up pretty much how I felt about last night's game. Why isn't Chamberlain starting? Why was well, we know why the defence was so poor considering it was a completely new one. But I mean, things do have to change going into that game against Newcastle. We've really got to pick ourselves up from this. I just want us to get the ball rolling on this season. We haven't looked convincing yet. We didn't look overly convincing against Palace. We got absolutely dominated by West Ham. And we got bullied off the pitch at times last night against Liverpool. Things have to change. And why is it that we're giving the ball away so much? I mean, we're a team that are meant to be so renowned for our passing ability. And we're constantly giving the ball away in stupid positions. I mean, Liverpool could have scored so many goals last night from our own defensive errors. Players like Chambers, Cazorla had an unusually poor game last night despite the pass that he played into Ramsey. It's just players not turning up to the plate when they need to. This team needs to be refreshed. We do need to do stuff in the transfer window. A world-class striker would be ideal, but given the Benzema news, I'm not too sure how likely that's going to happen. I'm never confident that we're going to bring in a world-class player, despite what the last two transfer windows have evidenced. I do think we need a central defensive midfielder as well. Coughlin was an absolute workhorse last night, but if he keeps putting in performances like that, covering everyone else's asses, then he is going to burn himself out, and he needs cover. He's still at a rather tender age of 24, so got to bring someone else in that position, and we need more offensive options, which for a team like Arsenal, not a good position to be in. I mean, Danny Welbeck comes back soon, but is he really the answer to our woes at the moment? I don't know. I mean, we've got a massive game against Newcastle coming up now. We've got a week left in the transfer window to really get some business done. And I would hope that we're able to bring in some kind of statement of intent, a big player that can propel us to getting our season started. I mean, we're on the back foot already, and I'm really disappointed by that. I was going into the season with so much promise, and I'm not ruling us out of the title race just yet, but I'm not saying we're going to win it. I'm doubtful that we'll win the title given how we're playing these past 2 years. We just look haphazard. We look a bit confused with our lineups, and I don't really know what to make of Arsenal just yet. We need more time to really get proficient. And like I say, there's a week left in the transfer window. Let's hope we can go out there and get some players in. But anyway, guys, thanks to all of you who tweeted in. If you don't follow me on Twitter, @simplycookie_ is my Twitter handle. Like the video if you've enjoyed it. Make sure to subscribe to Arsenal Fan TV. Do check out my own channel, AFC Game by Game. And thank you very much for watching, guys.